What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing this evening? It is Sunday and November 12th, and I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Dropped off a load this morning in South Haven, Mississippi, which is right outside Memphis. Man, turn of events, man. You just have to roll with the punches. You have to roll with the punches and hope everything goes in your favor. Now, recall last time I talked to you guys, I expressed my frustration that, the load was taken off me, that it was basically entered in the system. It was a load picking up, right? It was a load picking up in Chester, South Carolina on Friday, and it was going to go to Selma, Texas, which is right outside San Antonio. And I expressed how, I was excited because I was going to be able to see my son. And then also in my week with some very good numbers. Okay, remember my goal is between 5 to 5,500. Okay, when I reach that goal between 5 and 5,500, and keep my fuel costs to a minimum, along with my truck payment, my take home is usually around 2,400. Okay, a week. That's my take home. Of course, my truck payment is 14, and then the fuel can range anywhere between 12 to 15. But I've been watching where I fuel as well as how much I put in. Okay, so my goal is between 5 to 5,500 a week. So last week numbers were going to end pretty good because I was still going to have one more day, which is tomorrow, Monday, to pick up a load and finish out my week, because the week technically ends if you get a load Monday, and if you drop it off before 6 Central on Tuesday, it closes out your week. All right, anything after that starts the new week. So I was going to be able to get one more load in, and I was going to probably try and aim for a load that was going to be either 500 or over, okay, because that would have put me over 5,000. But unfortunately, that one load coming out of Chester, South Carolina, going to Selma was taken off me. So I was kind of frustrated about that, guys, But not only that, when you book your own loads, it is wise to book your loads a week in advance. All right, a week in advance, because if you wait till the last minute, okay, you're left with loads that nobody wants. Okay, they pay crap, $1 per mile, if that. Some have multiple stops, so you're left with just scraps, guys. You're left with scraps. So it's always good to book your loads week in advance, at least. All right. Now I know people out there, I book my loads 2 or 3 weeks. Honestly, I really think they're just blowing smoke up our asses, because anything can go wrong. Okay, the weather, maintenance, and all it takes is one load to mess everything up. All right, now you can go ahead and insert a load in replacement for that one load that got dropped, or whatever the case might be, but just like the other day when I was in Orlando, the load wasn't ready. All right, the load wasn't ready, and I could have waited for the next morning to pick up that load, or whatever you want to call it, but it would have basically made a ripple effect. So with that being said, guys, when that load was taken off me, from Chester, South Carolina, going to Texas, and I was just like, one, I was bummed out because of the situation with my son. 2, I was just like, man, now what I'm gonna do, okay? Because you have to look for a load. Not only that, what if you're in a so-so area to where you just lucked out, but then now you're just basically thrown to the wind to where you have to try and find a replacement to insert that load in your plans, and there's nothing. All right, so you kind of like you're kind of between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. All right, but I was able to get 2 loads in, guys. 2 loads in. Okay, One was coming out of 4 Oaks. I have them right here. 4 Oaks, North Carolina, going to South Haven, Mississippi, which is the one I just dropped this morning. And then tomorrow morning, okay, I'm picking up a load here in Jonesboro, which is where I'm at. Jonesboro, Arkansas, taking it to Baton Rouge for tomorrow. No, take it back. For Tuesday. After Tuesday, guys, I'm gonna have to sit because I'm probably only gonna have maybe 4 hours left on my clock. And then I get like around 10 and a half hours, you know, basically I'm running on recaps, you know, as you guys already know. Okay, I'm running on recaps. But Tuesday, I'm just gonna go ahead and have to just shut it down. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut it down because, you know, nothing. I really can't do anything. You know, I mean, what can you really do with 4.5 to 5 hours? So with that being said, guys, you know, I mean, you're kind of like at the mercy, you know, to get loads and hope that nothing really kind of throws a monkey wrench in it. All right, but you know, trucking is not easy, guys. Trucking is not easy, you know. For those who are not truck drivers, guys, you know, trucking is not easy. For, you know, one, obviously, you know, we leave our family behind, you know. Two, once we leave that door, you know, sometimes we don't know we're going to come back, you know. I mean, you have that positive feeling and positive thinking and frame of mind to where I'm going to come back and everything's going to be okay, whatever. But, man, you know, we're about to go into a season to where, you know, sometimes, you know, the risk gets elevated to a different level, and you know, it kind of like puts a damper on how you see things. You know, how much can you be out here? How much can you risk it? Now, by all means, guys, you know, some of us, this is all we know, you know, to be a truck driver. I've been trucking for a handful of years, you know. I do have a degree, and I'm just venting, guys. You know, I'm venting and I'm just sharing you a little token of my past, you know. But you know, some of us, I mean, you know, this is all we know. This is all we know, and we're about to enter a season to where, you know, some of us, we have to do it because we have to put food on our table, clothes on our family's back, and a roof over our head. You know, others, you know, they have a choice. You know, they can go back home and get a regular job or whatever, and park the truck, you know, until the season passes and come back out in the road or whatever you want to call it. You know, but I mean, you know, to sit back and you know, when you're on the road, guys, you know, when you're on the road, you know, especially when you're going down long stretches of just basically just traveling, right? And I can probably say this for everybody. You sit back sometimes and just think, you know, and you know, basically ask yourself, how much longer can I do this? How much longer can I be away from my family? How much longer, or how many times more can I close that door behind me and saying I'll be back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the case might be? All right. Now, I'm not trying to foreshadow, you know, my future or anything like that. I'm just throwing it out there in the wind. All right. But it all comes down to was like, man, trucking is not easy, and we still get treated like crap. All right. And there's times I come out here, guys, and I see other truck drivers, like the lady next to me. All right. She's by herself. She has a dog. She has to be at least in her 70s, man, 60 or 70s. And, you know, you ask yourselves, you know, I'm 52, guys. I'm 52 years old. All right. I just turned 52 back in September. All right. My cousin is 61. He's been truck driving for about a little bit over 30 years. All right. He's been doing it for a while. And he was one of the reasons why I decided to become a truck driver. All right. Now, my profession before I became a truck driver, I was still in the transportation department, but I wasn't a truck driver. But man, I sit around and sometimes I just observe, and look at other truck drivers that are around me. And I see some people out here, man, that you can just tell that the lifestyle of being over the road has just basically taken its toll on them. And, man, some of these people can't hardly walk. They're hunched over. It looks like their back is just ready shot, or whatever you want to call it. And, it's crazy to think, man. It's just like, yeah, I like, understand, guys, I like truck driving. I really do. All right. I get to see some of our God's great creation, right out this window. All right. We have a beautiful countryside, guys. We have a beautiful country out there. I get to see areas to where a lot of people are never going to see, all right, or come across, or have the ability to see it. I've driven many times through Chicago. I've driven many times through Pennsylvania. I've seen the St. Louis Arch. I think one landmark that I'll probably see numerous times, man, that I can recall, all right, probably would have to be the St. Louis Arch, and mainly because if you really think about it, man, 40 and what is that, 55 or 57 when it comes down from Chicago, and you kind of go, oh man, is it because the St. Louis Arch, St. Louis is basically almost kind of like the center part of the transportation? I mean, I know back in the days, we had Route 66, or Route 66. But out of all the landmarks, man, you have the Golden Gate Bridge, you have the Grand Canyon, you have you have certain things out there, guys. And to me, I've probably seen the St. Louis Arch hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. Like, look, there it is again. I mean, at first, couple of times, like, oh, cool, check it out, man. And there's Busch Stadium and whatever you want to call it. But now it's like, oh, there's a St. Louis Arch. Whatever the case might be. But I get to see, a lot of places that my family's probably not going to be able to see in their lifetime unless they go out and actually go see it. But I get to come across some beautiful places, man. I traveled through Kentucky's, the Carolinas, all up, the colonies. Shot across the Pike out there, Pennsylvania into Illinois. I mean, you name it. I've been into the Dakotas. I mean, we all have been there. We all have been there. But you sit back and you just, you kind of ask yourselves, like, man, how much longer can I take this? It almost comes to a point to where it's like you sit back and you just kind of like pondering, like, how much can I be in this cab, in this sleeper, and be away from my family. Now, if you're by yourself, you have no kids, you're not married, you don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever you want to call it, then yeah, trucking is like, man, run with it. Okay, run with it. It's going to give you a beautiful opportunity. Yeah, the market sucks right now, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, but when you're a family person, it doesn't matter if you're a mother or a husband or whatever you want to call it, and then you have kids, to top it off. Yeah, it can become a struggle, guys. It can become a struggle. All right. Now, things have gotten a little bit easier because now my kids are out doing their thing. As you guys know, my daughter's in Orlando, my son's in San Antonio. My wife's back at home, and my mother-in-law lives with us now. But I mean, you kind of sit back and you just kind of wonders like, man, how much left? How much can I put in this? All right, how much can I put in this? And sometimes you're left with like an answer to where you don't even know yourself. And the sad thing about it is, man, some of us, this is all we know. This is all we know. So you kind of have no other means to escape to, so to speak. All right. Or not only that, it's like, yeah, you can go somewhere else, but you're used to making a certain amount of money. All right. And honestly, guys, sometimes that's the reason why we come out here, because we know it's good money. It's somewhat, I won't say it's easy money, but it's an opportunity to better ourselves than to flip burgers or, doing this or doing that, because God, to be honest, guys, to be honest, big time, before I became a truck driver, all right, I had a pretty good job. I was a transportation supervisor, for 16 years. And I was in charge with of over a lot of people, some truck drivers, truck helpers, dock workers. But I had reached my plateau, and I was looking around on what other avenues I can take. And I would see my cousin and his lifestyle and other people that kind of were in the same field as he was. I was like, well, let me go ahead and try this. I knew how to drive trucks. I just didn't have my CDL. I mean, I think I shared my old career, in some of my old videos, But, when I started becoming a truck driver, the market was good. I was making great money. All right. So it was giving me an opportunity to support my family better, than I was, before I started truck driving. Now, before I started truck driving, yeah, I was still making good money, don't get me wrong. But I was able to kind of like put it into like full gear on where I wanted us to be. Okay. Then certain things hit, and then of course COVID hit, and then fuel prices started going up, Lowe's price, offerings were going down. I mean, it was just like a lot of stuff was just being juggled. All right. And one thing goes up, something must come down, right? But overall, man, you sit back and you just kind of wonders like, man, how much more can you put yourself out here, for? And sometimes I just sit there and just like wonders like, I really don't know. Now don't get me wrong. I mean, I like what I'm doing. I'm still making decent money. But and that's a big but. But you kind of sit back and wonders like, man, how much left do I have out here? Okay, to offer, basically to offer. So I don't know, man. That's just me ranting. I might do a live video, a live chat Tuesday afternoon, because like I said, after Tuesday, I'm not doing anything. Okay, so I might do something live Tuesday, around 6 o'clock, so to speak. Okay, I'll be in Baton Rouge. There's a Love's out there in Baton Rouge. There's a Love's, and there's a Pilot. All right, I'm gonna pick either one. But there's a Love's and Pilot. Whichever one I'm gonna go to, that's where I'm gonna be for the night. So, but yeah, man, guys, this is just me ranting. Sharing my thoughts. If you guys have feelings like this, sure. Okay, let me know what you guys think, man. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that thinks this way sometimes, But anyways, guys, I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Sorry about that, guys. My thing clicked over by accident, but I was just winding down the video, and I just wanted to tell you guys, be careful out there. I've said it numerous times. Doesn't matter if you're bumping docks, throwing straps, pulling tarps, hoisting down chains. This is my music right here, man. When I'm chilling,
looking for a lighthouse. Green pill, you said that it was painless. Down and out, drowning in the sea of my anguish. Body